He listened to those who were experts in the fields, and when he was finally satisfied with what he needed to know, he decided on what needed to be done. Tun Dr. Mahathir was decisive in dealing with the crisis, opting for currency and capital controls, which in the end proved to be the correct remedy and acknowledged by those who had criticized him when he decided to adopt the remedies. Although Yang Amat Bahagia Tun should now be enjoying his retirement, and I don't think the word retirement is actually in his vocabulary. His commitment to the better world sees him delivering speeches all over the world. Yang Amat Bahagia Tun's contribution towards societal development beyond the shores of Malaysia has received recognition internationally. As an example, Yang Amat Bahagia Tun was the recipient of the 2012 Rafiq Hariri United Nations Habitat Memorial Award as a recognition of his leadership, his statesmanship, and good governance. He was selected out of 13 other nominations from all over the world. Yang Amat Bahagia Tun's success in leading this country as a Prime Minister has triggered various studies and views on him, the society, and Malaysia, earning him the name Intellectual Statesman. This title is apt as we read his writings on various topics, especially on the Malay politics and economics issues and Malaysia. Writing is indeed one of his passions. Not many people know this. Yeah? Yang Amat Bahagia Tun started writing under the pseudonym of Cik Dek. His articles was published then in the Straits Times and Sunday Times, and his first article was actually published in July 1947 in the Sunday Times, and that's more than 60 years ago. Well, he was still a student at that point in time, and 21 of his articles were published in the newspapers, and he continues to contribute regularly to Tersan Malaysia as well as the New Straits Times until today. Additionally, Yang Amat Bahagia Tun has written more than 10 books, including his famous and debatable Malay Dilemma. I remembered I actually had to buy this particular book in Singapore because it was actually banned in Malaysia then. And then the recent one, A Doctor in the House. Yang Amat Bahagia Tun has also been the topic of thousands of articles, books, and other writings within the country and overseas. And presently, he is also the founder and president of the Perdana Global Peace Foundation, a foundation established and based in Kuala Lumpur, which oppose war and promote peace and global understanding. Yang Amat Bahagia Tun envisages a serious, active, and sustained struggle against war and for peace. Sharing and supporting this agenda are world prominent professionals, intellects, authors, statesmen, all passionate advocates of international peace. Together, they have signed the Kuala Lumpur Initiative that defines the initiatives to criminalize war. Yang Amat Bahagia Tun is married to Yang Amat Bahagia Tun Siti Hasmah. Unfortunately, she's not with us today. And the couple is blessed with 7 children and 17 grandchildren. I guess the secret of longevity here, as they say, is not only with you in the genes, but also the blissful life that you have together with your loved ones. And they have been married for more than 50 years. So without further ado, I have the pleasure, the honor, and privilege to cordially invite Yang Amat Bahagia Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the Chancellor of UTP, to deliver his lecture entitled Graduates in the 21st Century. You please, Tun.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Dato' Ibrahim, Vice Chancellor UTP, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Firstly, I would like to say thank you to Universiti PETRONAS, Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS, for this invitation to meet and talk and have a dialogue with the students. I am asked to talk about graduates in the 21st century. Now, as you know, things change over time. And today we see changes still taking place even as we prepare ourselves for the future. It has been pointed out that I am 87 years old. So I have been through quite a lot, and I have been able to watch changes taking place in Malaysia and also in the rest of the world. And these changes invariably relate to the lives of people. Even as our environment, our situation changes, our lives become affected. One of the most important things in any modern society is that people should be able to live a good life, to have food, clothing, and shelter. These are the basic needs of everyone. And to have this, we need to earn an income. We need to have some way of sustaining ourselves. Of course, in a very small society, the way we earn an income would be very simple. When I was a small boy, the people live a relatively primitive life. People do not get university education. The level of education when I was a small boy was only up to primary level. In Malaysia, it is standard 4 Malay school. A few were more fortunate. Like myself, I was more fortunate. I was able to go to what was known as the English school, where our studies end in standard 9 when we sit for the senior Cambridge examination. And if you pass that senior Cambridge examination, people consider you as qualified to do anything in the world. That was the level of the development of the community at that time. We did not need much education because what is required of us is very little. We can work as a clerk in the government offices or as a salesman, and we don't need much knowledge in order to do that. But as time progresses, the country's environment becomes more sophisticated, more complex. And to deal with this complexity, we need to have more knowledge. And therefore, when we became independent, we decided that what is important is to upgrade the knowledge of our people, of the Malaysian people, so as to cope with the changing environment, the needs of a changing environment. Strangely, during the time of the British, there was not a single university in Malaysia, in all the Malay states of the peninsula, or in Sabah and Sarawak, or even in Singapore. I went not to a university to study medicine. I went to a college, the King Edward VII College of Medicine, in order to qualify as a doctor. Halfway through, they decided that the college should join up with Raffles College to form the nucleus of a university, the University of Malaya.